The reason I wouldn't is this. First of all, the Mariners might be on the fringe of making a big decision with a couple of their arms, and that's Justice Sheffield and Justin Dunn. If you transition them now into the bullpen, and that's really the only place for them to pitch regularly the rest of the way. I could see one of them getting a start in August or September whenever they're ready to come back. But in addition to that, the club has done a great job with two arms already performing well for them right now that I don't think I give enough credit to, and I don't think really anybody gives enough credit to. Have you gone and looked at the numbers for Eric Swanson and Anthony Mashevitz lately? These two guys are taking the next steps, and could it be they could be even bigger parts of an even better relief corps next season. Mashevitz showed flashes last year, but right-handed batters torched him. He's been better there this year, and since a pitch adjustment in June, he's been dominant. 21 and third innings, he's posted a 29-3 strikeout to walk ratio, an xFIP under 3, and right-handed batters are just 8 for 42 against him during that span. Lefties are 9 for 41 with just 2 extra base hits in that span. So combined, 17 for 83. I'll do the math for you there. That's under a 200 batting average against, with 4 extra base hits total. Stuff-wise, Mashevitz is kind of the same guy. The fastball's like maybe a half tick better, and he's taken a little tiny bit of velo off his curveball. But most importantly, he's starting to eliminate, this is all in the mechanics, he's starting to eliminate some of his poor release points, which leads to fewer hanging curveballs, hitting his spots more often, and he's going to the cutter a little bit less and using the four-seamer more, and that seems to have helped him. But being able to locate a little bit better instead of just trying to blow 95-mile-an-hour fastballs by guys, which you can't do as much in today's game that you could 20 years ago, that has helped. Mashevitz has been fantastic. Eric Swanson has been really good this year too. I think if you ask the average fan, hey, what do you know about Eric Swanson? What they'll say is he served up the 2 home runs in Texas. And they'd be right. But he's also given up just 4 runs all season. In 21, and granted, it's only 21 and third innings because he was hurt. But in 21 and a third innings, 4 earned runs, and 3 of them came in one game, that game against the Rangers. The stuff has improved. The slider, once a 40-45 grade pitch, is at least average now in flashes plus, and he's developed a splitter that showed out in New York versus some very good hitters. 93 to 97. I think he's going to settle in averaging over 95 miles an hour on his four-seamer, and we've seen him earlier this year up to 98, 99. So as you're penciling in next year's bullpen, don't sleep on Eric Swanson and Anthony Mashevitz. I'm really, really interested and excited for Eric Swanson in that splitter. I really am. It's one of the things I took from the weekend against the Yankees, and I just ran with it. I started like calling around to people and talking about it. Hey, did you watch the Mariners series this weekend at all? Did you catch Eric Swanson? I called 3 people and asked that. I texted them, and then I ended up getting on the phone with them and talking to them. What did you think of the splitter? I'm very, very excited for Eric Swanson. I think there really could be something there. So that bullpen, and that's why I just went with like a Craig Stammen type a few minutes ago, because I don't really think it makes a lot of sense to go out and give a really good reliever like 2 years and $18 million. That's what the Familias and the Iglesiases are going to cost, maybe more. I'm still thinking Giles and Castillo and Sewald are your best 3. And whatever you get from Munoz might be kind of an advantage. And bullpens are volatile, relievers are volatile. So Sewald might not be as good. In fact, there's almost no chance Sewald is as good next year. Right? I mean, he's been unbelievable this year. And he doesn't even really throw that hard. He's like 91 to 93 mostly, occasionally touching 94. But he's awfully good. I'm not suggesting he's going to be bad next year, but expecting him to be as good probably isn't wise, and it's just going to set you up for disappointment. But he can still be a really important and quality piece of the bullpen. And you're going to need that if you're going to win games. I think what Jerry and his crew have done, and Justin Hollander over there, and their and the Jesse Smiths of the world have done a great job over there identifying the right guys to kind of build a bullpen with that might be able to last 2 or 3 years. And you might only need, I really think, they only really need to go out and grab a Craig Stammen type. A guy that's good, but not going to be your closer. I mean, he's like 91 to 93. Good, cutter, curveball, 25% strikeout rate, but he hardly walks anybody too. So that's why I did that. And I believe in Mashevitz and Swanson. I really do. At least enough to not go out and spend big on a reliever. And again, big on a reliever is like multiple years guaranteed, $7, $8, $9, $10 million. The Mariners do not need to do that, which is important. And I talked about this a little bit lately too. That's important because the Mariners do not have endless pockets. If you have an extra $8, $10, $12, $15 million because you didn't spend it on your bullpen this winter, well, that's another $8, $10, $15 million you can toss toward Marcus Semion's contract, for example, or Kevin Gausman's contract, for example, or whatever it is.